Welcome to Marketing Muckraking, the show that asks not simply what brand culture can do for us, but what it's doing to us. With your host, creative director, brand strategist gone wild, and the court jester of online business, Rachael Kay Albers, making fun of business and making business fun. This is the show for rebels, revolutionaries, and renegades who run businesses that burn the rulebook. If you're sick of business podcasts with all the answers, well, I've got nothing but questions. Let's go. Episode 1, The Age of the Personal Brand. I have been revisiting No Logo for its 22nd birthday. Actually, the day that I record this is February 22nd, 2022. That's 2/22/22. And No Logo is 22 years old, which feels kind of fitting. And when I open the book to the title page, there's a quote: "You might not see things yet on the surface, but underground, it's already on fire," by Indonesian writer Y.B. Manganwijaya. The pages are thin enough to form a kind of collage between this quote and the ominous title page beneath it. No space, no choice, no jobs, no logo. Naomi Klein was researching and writing No Logo, the adbusting book that rang a warning bell about just how big brand culture had become, when Tom Peters coined the phrase personal brand in his 1997 Fast Company article, "The Brand Called You." Just as No Logo was about to bust brands like Nike wide open, Peters told us to take a lesson from the big brands, establish your own micro equivalent of the Nike swoosh. It's funny, marketers have spent almost 200 years trying to make brands that feel like people. Now marketers will spend the next 200 years trying to make people feel like brands. You're every bit as much a brand as Nike, Coke, Pepsi, or The Body Shop, wrote Peters. And he had no idea how right he was. Almost 25 years after the term was coined, we are living in the age of the personal brand, where we apply market logic and corporate strategy to ourselves, whether we're employees or entrepreneurs. When I did a quick Amazon search of books about personal branding, there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of results. Branding Yourself, The Brand Called You, Build Your Personal Brand, Brand You, Branding Pays, Personal Branding for Dummies, You Are a Brand, You Branding, You Are the Brand, Be the Brand, Known, How to Sell Yourself, Just Do You, Rise of the Youpreneur, Influencer Platform, Personal Branding and Marketing Yourself, Self-Marketing Power. I could go on, but I won't. As Peters sold it, branding ourselves offers an exciting and empowering personal escape from corporate rule, like Naomi Klein wrote about in No Logo. You're not an employee of General Motors. You're not a staffer at General Mills. You're not a worker at General Electric or a human resource at General Dynamics. Oops, that's gone. Forget the generals. You don't belong to any company for life, and your chief affiliation isn't to any particular function. You're not defined by your job title, and you're not confined by your job description. Starting today, you are a brand. This is what he wrote in 1997. Here's where this thinking starts to fray. A brand does not belong to itself. Brands belong to their customers. When Nike's audience changes, Nike changes. The brand has no self to contend with. It answers only to sales. So when we apply brand logic to people, to ourselves, who or what do we answer to? The Brand Called You heralded personal branding as the path to freedom from the clutches of corporate culture that No Logo would soon urge us to flee. The value proposition of becoming CEO of Me Inc. is that you can finally be brand loyal to yourself first and foremost. But can you? What happens when the market shifts? What happens when you shift? And what if that shift isn't profitable? Brands answer to sales. People answer to themselves. Put them together, and you've got a world of people shaping ourselves around what sells. And that doesn't feel like freedom to me. Klein called it. No space, no jobs, no choice, no logo. So, what's next, RKA? The truth is, I'm not in a hurry to find a happy ending here. This show, Marketing Muckraking, is about digging into not simply what brand culture can do for us, how it can build our businesses. There are plenty of shows, podcasts, blogs, books out there on that topic. I'm a brand strategist, and I have felt tethered in my own exploration of this topic, bound by my own personal brand, which is branded around branding. It's inception. I've been caught in the tension between answering to sales and the self. And I started to lose grasp on whether I was pursuing ideas because they were profitable or because they were my authentic ideas. If I were to, quote, think like my own brand manager, as Peters puts it, then I would answer to the many people in my audience struggling with this same ambivalence. And I would neatly package my conclusions into a branded take on personal unbranding. Burn it down all the way to the bank or your money back. I can see it now. Burning sensation branding. You can imagine like a little sticker that says fire sale. This is where self-branding slowly erases the self. I think I am free, empowered, loyal to me, Inc. All the while, I am training myself to think in commodities. My mind may be free to roam, but my internal brand manager, as Peters calls it, makes sure that I stay safely inside the bounds of what's sellable. Soon, I can't distinguish between what I believe and what is best for my brand. And this is what free school taught me. Earlier last year, in 2021, I had a breakdown somewhere at the intersection of self and brand, and I called it free school. I started free school, which at the time I described as the greatest biz art experiment of all time. Yes, I branded my own breakdown. Okay. And I vowed to, quote, burn down the rules of online business to see what was left standing. And the truth is, when I started free school, I had absolutely no intention of it becoming what it became. I thought I was just going to show up every day on my Instagram stories and teach everything that I knew about business without a paywall, without you having to subscribe to my email list. I thought this was new and fun and inventive. That was the original concept. Show up and teach everything I know for free in Instagram stories. Who's ever heard of anything like that? And along the way, as I became more and more free in my analysis and critique of the online business industry in general, free school turned into burning down my allegiance to industry bullshit. Okay. And then my life, my marriage, my family caught fire, and I found myself completely unable to control the flames. And if you know, you really had to be there. I soon found out that when you burn it all down, the only thing left standing is you. Free school brought me back to school. It showed me just how much the age of the personal brand, not just online business, had miseducated me about what it is to be myself. As Klein revealed in No Logo, our modern brand culture has replaced innovation with image. It has been decades since Nike was in the business of making shoes. Today, the only thing that Nike manufactures itself is marketing. You're not buying the product, you're buying a feeling. Personal brand culture, too, privileges perception over true progress. It's less important that you actually innovate than your audience thinks that you do. And it's easier to look like an innovator than to become one. Fake it till you make it is the anthem of this age. But in practice, if you fake it well enough, you might not ever need to make anything at all. See my article on Inventing Anna and our fascination with famous scammers like Anna Delvey and Elizabeth Holmes and what that means about the age of the personal brand. I wrote an op-ed about that last week in The Week. It'll be linked in the show notes. In this way, the most successful thought leaders often earn that title simply by following the cues of their audience and what the market of ideas will bear without leading them anywhere new. At the time that I started Free School, standing at the corner of self and brand, I knew that if I was going to choose one, I had to burn a bridge to the other. And this is where you find me today, in that treacherous territory that lies beyond the safety of the sellable self, exploring all of the ideas and questions and possibilities I had in me all along, the ones that I didn't dare visit because I knew I couldn't get back to brand headquarters by dark. The thoughts too unwieldy, too heavy to throw in my backpack and resell on my return. If you're listening to this, you might have Googled personal brand and felt betrayed by SEO when you found this where you expected a helpful how-to. Maybe you subscribed to my newsletter or you watched my show, Awkward Marketing, where initially I promised you my thoughts on building an unforgettable brand and marketing your business without selling your soul. Or maybe you just heard that a brand was on fire and brought your popcorn to watch it burn. Hey, I get it. Everybody loves a dumpster fire. I invite you to stay if you, like me, are interested not only in what branding can do for you, what brand culture can do for you, but what it's doing to you and what to do about it. The age of the personal brand is not exclusive to entrepreneurs, and it's not something we can opt out of either. It's something we must work around. It is easy to say you're not your brand, but it's harder to navigate what that really looks like at a time when every inch of our lives is commodified. Our very attention is bought and sold thousands of times a day. I don't have the answer, TM, nor am I looking for one. I am pursuing the questions that I have been too afraid to ask because I knew there were no easy to monetize solutions. What is branding doing to us? How did we get here? Who does this serve? And how do I become my own person before brand culture sells me a safer self? Registered trademark. Disclaimer, safer self is highly flammable. Buy-in at your own risk. May result in burning down your entire life. I did it and you can too, but I don't recommend it. I'm not closing my business or leaving the world of branding and marketing behind. I am still working with rule breakers and renegades who have stuff to sell but want to take their souls off the market. The difference is I am finally being honest about the fact that I specialize in questions, not answers. My 12 years, now I'm in year 13 of business, in the branding game has shown me that when people hire an agency, they give up their agency and default to whatever safer self their strategist suggests. And it's usually in the shape of a dick funnel. The age of the personal brand isn't black and white, but the industry conversation about branding is. And here, I deal in rainbows, which I love/hate to say is very on brand for me. If you, like me, are sick of business shows, podcasts, and newsletters that have all of the answers in nicely little branded boxes, well, I got nothing but questions. So if you want more marketing muckraking, brand strategy gone wild, I invite you to subscribe to this show. Leave a review if you enjoyed this. That really helps me out. And you can go to rachaelkayalbers.com/subscribe if you want to get these updates in written form in your inbox. Until then, it's not the age of the niche, it's the age of the wildcard bitch. See you on the internet.